The crowd cheered for her betrayal until he exposed the truth with a single toast and a drone-delivered gift. It was New Year's Eve and on the rooftop of the Sterling Hotel in Manhattan. The Manhattan skyline glittered like a million promises. Guests mingled beneath heat lamps, bundled in designer coats and laughter. Tables were adorned with crystal and silver. Waiters glided through the crowd with oysters, mini sliders, and endless champagne. In the middle of it all stood Ethan Blake, tall, composed, a custom navy tux fitting him like second skin. His dark eyes scanned the crowd before settling on Emily, his wife of 8 years. She looked radiant. A champagne satin gown hugged her like a secret, her auburn hair pinned in elegant curls. She laughed as she spoke to his business partner's wife, sipping from a flute, her smile a little too wide. That same smile had once made him believe in magic. Now it just made him count heartbeats. Ethan checked his watch. 11:42. He reached into his jacket and felt the small velvet box tucked inside. It wasn't jewelry. A waiter passed by. He picked up a glass, nodded politely, and made his way to the raised platform near the string quartet. The event's MC noticed and handed him the microphone with a knowing smile. Everyone quieted. This was expected. Ethan was a tech entrepreneur, a self-made millionaire, and the man who'd hosted this luxurious New Year's Eve party for 3 years running. He tapped the mic once. "Good evening, everyone," Ethan said, his voice calm, polished. "Thank you for joining us tonight to celebrate the end of a year and the start of something new." Polite applause. A few guests whistled. Emily turned toward him, eyes glinting beneath the lights. Proud, relaxed, unaware. "I want to take a moment to toast someone who has meant everything to me," he said. "My wife, Emily." She flushed slightly, placing a hand over her heart. The crowd cooed. 8 years ago, we met in a coffee shop in Brooklyn. She stole my table and didn't apologize, he chuckled. I was hooked from that moment on. She's intelligent, passionate, and fiercely ambitious. Together, we built a life, a home, a legacy. He paused, eyes locking with hers. But life has a funny way of testing what we build, what we trust. The atmosphere shifted. Subtle, barely noticeable. Emily tilted her head, her smile faltering for a fraction of a second. I learned this year that trust isn't just about big moments. It's about the small ones. Passwords changed. Gym sessions that lasted a little too long. Phone calls that ended when I entered the room. Now the crowd was hushed, the festive buzz dimmed like a candle in wind. Ethan smiled gently. Of course, I could have dismissed it. We're all busy, distracted, but I'm a man of data. Patterns, evidence. Emily stiffened, her champagne glass frozen midair. So I did what any logical man would do, he continued. I followed the data. He stepped down from the platform, walking slowly toward the long table where Emily sat surrounded by friends and family. I learned a lot, Emily, he said softly, about your schedule, your text history, your private Instagram account, about Roman. Gasps scattered like firecrackers. Emily's face paled. Her lips parted. Ethan. He raised a hand. Roman, for those of you who don't know, is Emily's Pilates instructor. And for the past year, also her personal trainer. Very personal. The room was dead silent. You could hear the ice clink in untouched glasses. But I didn't want to ruin tonight, Ethan said calmly. I wanted to give you a gift. He turned his gaze upward. A soft mechanical hum filled the air. People looked up. A small drone descended through the open roof window, lights blinking as it hovered gracefully toward the head table. A tiny compartment opened. Something wrapped in silver ribbon dropped gently onto Emily's lap. She didn't move. Couldn't. Open it, Ethan said quietly. With trembling hands, Emily pulled the ribbon loose, lifted the lid, and found a USB stick resting atop a thick manila envelope. Inside the envelope were photos, high-resolution stills taken from hotel security cameras, bank transaction records, and timestamped texts. The USB has more, Ethan said, stepping back. Video clips. Voice recordings. A signed statement from Roman when I offered him a severance to disappear. He took it, by the way. You won't be seeing him again. The party was no longer a party. It was a courtroom. A public unveiling. A confession with no words. The clock on the building next door began to flash. 11:59. Ethan lifted his glass. I didn't come for fireworks. I came for closure. A single firework lit the sky. Then another. The crowd didn't cheer. They just watched in stunned silence as colors exploded above them. Emily was shaking. Silent tears streamed down her cheeks. Ethan turned to her, eyes calm. You handed me lies every day and called it love. I decided to give you truth for New Year's. He stepped back from the table. The crowd parted like water as he walked toward the elevator. No one stopped him. No one dared. He paused at the doors, looked back one last time. I hope the new year brings you honesty, he said, because I'm done bringing everything else. The elevator opened. He stepped inside. As the doors slid shut, the first wave of murmurs swept through the rooftop. Emily sat frozen, the USB trembling in her hand, the weight of her choices finally settling like ash from fireworks. Outside, the city cheered. Horns blared. Couples kissed. And inside the elevator, Ethan smiled to himself, not out of cruelty, not out of vengeance, but out of peace. He didn't burn bridges. He just turned on the lights. If you really enjoyed the video, please like it and subscribe the channel for more interesting content. Thanks for watching.